welcome back to Yoga for Everyday People. In today's segment we'll continue on the theme of rocking the pelvis and looking at segmental mobility of the spine. Sorry I have to keep repeating this, but do make sure you've checked the second episode, which has our health disclaimer on it, to make sure that you're safe and that you're honouring the needs of your body. And we're going to look at rocking the pelvis and the segmental mobility of the spine, this time in a yoga pose known as cat. And classically it's done on all fours, but Ben and I are going to show you some adaptations because it's not appropriate to do them on all fours for a lot of people for various reasons. Okay, so we're going to begin with the knees in the high kneeling position. So the first thing we need to do is honour the knees. If you have a knee problem but you can bear weight, you need to add a blanket underneath, okay? If you have a knee problem and you cannot bear weight, you can do cat standing or with the aid of a chair, but I'll show you how to do those in a little bit. Okay, so begin with the knees directly beneath the hips, and then traditionally cat is taught with the hands directly beneath the shoulders. Okay, so I'm just going to scoot back a little bit so you can have Ben in view as well as. So hands are directly beneath the shoulders, knees are directly beneath the hips. Now a lot of people have wrist discomfort, so if you're in that category you can create fists. A lot of people like this variation. Or if you just happen to have a wedge, ta-da, you can use a wedge and you can take the weight, a little adjustment, you'll need to play with it a bit. You can take the weight wedge facing forward, take the weight through the fingers more rather than through the wrists. Or if those options do not work for you, you can come down onto the forearms. So I'm going to do cat on the forearms and Ben is going to do cat on all fours. So the first thing we want to start to do is we want to explore rocking the pelvis. So we take the tailbone to the sky and then we take the tailbone towards the navel. So rounding the lower back when the tailbone comes to the navel, and taking the tailbone to the sky, we're extending the lower back. So tuck the tailbone under and take the tailbone up. So as we breathe out, the tail goes under, and on an inhale, tail goes up. As we're doing this, we're checking that the neck is relaxed, the head is comfortable, but the whole of the body, the upper arms are also comfortable. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay, so like we did in bridge, now we're going to explore segmental mobility. So when we next round the back, we tuck the tail under, the sacrum follows, and the movement, when we tuck the tail and the sacrum under, we can also feel the lumbar vertebrae. So lumbar vertebrae rounding. Eventually we can feel the lower thoracic, the middle thoracic, and we take the chin to your chest. Did you notice Ben created fists as he was working with it? So he modified the position of his hands to honour his wrist, which is wonderful. Okay, and now we're going to go back from this rounded flex position. We're going to go into spinal extension. So as we breathe in, we take the tail up, sacrum. You can feel the lumbar vertebrae when you take the tail, the sacrum, the lumbar vertebrae, and into the thoracic. Lengthening through the spine, and eventually the head comes up last. Okay, so let's do that again. Breathing out. Now, don't get hung up. Like loads of people tell me, I cannot feel the vertebrae, I cannot feel the segments moving. That's normal, that's absolutely normal. So don't get hung up, I'm giving you this detail, feel this and feel that. If you don't feel it, you're not doing anything wrong, you're doing perfectly, you're doing a great job. So, and the more you practice, the more you will connect with these parts of your body. So just keep practicing, that's the main thing. Honouring your body and practicing moving mindfully to the rhythm of your breath so you can experience every moment. And then when we're ready to inhale, lengthening through the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, and eventually when the head comes up, we lengthen through the neck. Great stuff. So flexing through or rounding the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, and then chin to chest. Lovely. And then one more here, lengthening, tail, sacrum, the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, the head. And you'll probably find that after you've explored some of these, your back will feel wonderful, but you'll also want to come and rest in child's pose. So child's pose, we take our bottom to the heels. And because I've got a wonderful, beautiful belly, I want to open my knees up a little bit so I make space. And even if you don't have a wonderful, beautiful belly, you might find that you want to open your knees up a little bit and place the forehead on the floor, coming down into extended child. And you can keep your arms here, or some people like to go into child's pose where they place the arms by the sides of the body. So for me, having the arms by the sides of the body creates a lot of pressure in the neck area. So I like to rest my forehead in my upturned palms, have my forearms on the floor, so some of the weight is taken through my arms rather than my neck. And equally, some people like to stack their fists up and place their forehead on their stacked up fists. You need to find what's most appropriate for your unique body. And just rest here in child's pose. Stay connected to the breath. So a lot of people cannot do cats on all fours for a variety of reasons, and if you're in that category, you can still do cat, but you can do it with a chair and you can do it standing up. If you are using a chair, please do make sure you honour your forearms and your elbows by placing a nice soft blanket across the top of it, okay? And then to come into cat, you want to stay. Again, everyone's body is unique, so you need to find what's appropriate. It's trial and error for your unique body. The correct distance between the chair and yourself. So you place your forearms onto the chair, and I find that I need to take my feet back a little bit further here to give myself the space to lengthen through the spine, but also I want to have the ability to bend my knees. If I take my legs too far back, bending the knees, it's too much for me, I'm out of alignment. So I need to have the feet beneath my hips, approximately. Feet beneath the hips, feet parallel, if possible hip width apart. If you find splaying your feet away is better for you, then please feel free to explore that option. So in this position, checking that my neck is nice and relaxed, I begin to rock the pelvis. So inhaling the tail up, exhaling it under. And then again, I can round the back here. So as I breathe out, I can round, working up the spine, segments moving until my chin tucks under last. And then on an inhalation, I can take the tail up, lengthening, going into spinal extension until the head comes up last. And this feels absolutely gorgeous. So even if you don't have any issues with being on all fours, you might want to try this anyway. So then as we breathe out, we round the lower back, the middle back, the upper back. The chin tucks under last. We're in spinal flexion. And on an inhalation, we uncurl through the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, and eventually the head. Oh, let's do that one more time because it feels so lovely. Rounding on the exhale. And extending on the inhale. And then when you've completed, you have two options. If you feel like folding forward into a lovely forward bend, you can hang here. This is nice. And after you've hung here for a bit, look, my knees are soft, nothing is locked, knees are soft, hamstrings are released a little, and I'm protecting my back. If you're in this forward bend and it's causing, it's too much on the lower back, place your elbows on your knees and hang here instead. Okay, so whichever option you go for, you're checking that you're comfortable, and eventually you want to come up to standing. So you slowly uncurl and you come up. Knees are soft. Oh. Uncurling through the segments until eventually you're standing. So if you know that forward bend is not appropriate and you've completed your count and you're here, you can slowly come up into a standing position instead. And then you can relax and also experience and enjoy, savor the moment. Enjoy the benefits of your practice. So in the next episode for Yoga for Everyday People, we're continuing on the theme of rocking the pelvis and segmental mobility. So we look forward to seeing you there. Namaste.